been thinking, did they win? Or did the other team lose? Just think about that for a minute.
The question isn't how'd I win. The question is why'd they lose.
What's the difference?
There's a big difference, love.
How's it going, folks? It's me, the Irish Alchemist, and here with another one of my random thought videos. And keeping in touch with the whole random aspect, even as you can see, my camera position has even changed. That's going to be a feature in this channel as well. Like, it's going to be, different things at different times. And I also want to make a bit of an apology as well as such. See, these videos are going to be completely and utterly unscripted. So, there's going to be times where maybe, maybe there's something that, I forgot to say, or, there's something that, I only just thought of there and then that maybe I haven't had time to think through. These are rehearsed, mind you, but, they're not scripted. They're rehearsed, but, they're not scripted. So, this is something that I've been thinking about a while. It actually came up in a discussion that I was having with one of my managers at work. Right? We were talking about, I can't remember the specifics of what it was exactly, right? But there was a point that I was making to my manager as well, right? Where basically I said that such a person didn't win, the other person lost. All right. So you're probably asking yourself, well, what do you mean by that exactly? So basically, it's mainly revolving around sporting comebacks. All right. So I do apologize about the cap, by the way. Like I said, guys, this is unscripted. She's just minding her own business or whatnot. Okay. So I went home there and I looked up what's some of the greatest mainly football comebacks as such. Right. And there was one example that I came across in 2012. It was Arsenal versus Reading. Right, Reading's one of the lower tier. I think it was in a FA Cup or something like that there. And Reading were up 5-2 at half time. All right, and then Arsenal came back into the game and they won the game 7-5 goals. All right, so you may be saying to yourself, "Well, Arsenal won that match." I don't exactly think so. I think it's more a case that Reading lost the match. Not a case that Arsenal won the match. I think it's more a case that Reading lost the match, right? Because they were in complete control of the match, all right? And they just threw it away, all right? So that's why I say that Reading lost the match, all right? Arsenal doesn't actually win it, they lost it. And another good example, one of my personal favorites actually, is in 1996, the US Golf Masters, right? Greg Norman was leading the field by at least, he was 13 under par, and Nick Faldo, I think, was, he might have been 8 under par or something like that there. Anyway, basically, Greg Norman lost 5 shots on within 12 holes, all right? And Nick Faldo, I think, gained about 4 or 5 or something like that there. And basically, the story was that Greg Norman he fell apart. He just completely collapsed on the last day. So that is another example whereby Greg Norman he lost it. Right? Nick Faldo didn't exactly win it. Greg Norman just lost it. I mean, a good example in golf was Paul Lawrie in the 1999 Open. He won, but only after. The leader, Jean Van de Velde, he dropped 3 shots on the last hole, and it's basically considered one of sport's greatest blunders, of all time. Right, and so there you go. That's just another example, right? Someone lost it, right? Didn't necessarily win it, they lost it. Now, you're probably saying this actually. Well, what circumstances would you consider someone winning a game? Well, that's a good point. I say, like in football, a team wins 1-0 or 2-0, right? That's a win. If someone wins by 3 or 4, 0 or something like that there. I mean, that's a team, that has won the game because they played the better, right? And they won the game, right? Whereas if it's a case whereby one team is so far ahead and then they lose it, then I consider that they lost, right? I wouldn't say the other team won it; they lost. All right. So like I said, I know probably a lot of you guys sitting there, looking at me thinking, what logic does this? What logic? This does not make logical sense. And maybe it does, but it's just the way I see it. Or at the very least, you can maybe make the kind of argument saying that, going back to the Reading example, say like, you can maybe say, well, Reading lost it more than Arsenal won it, and they maybe could put it that way. I mean, it's another thing actually. I mean, I literally just came up with that thought right there and then. All right, so you just never know what's going to happen in my head. You really just don't. All right. So that's my random thought for the day, guys. Right? If you liked what you saw, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and maybe tell your mates of some random bloke on the internet spouting off random shit as such. So I don't know what my next video is going to be. Just going to be till I have my next random thought. So I leave you with this one, guys. Once again, don't just think happy thoughts. Think random thoughts.